Are you prepared for a pet emergency? A local emergency animal doctor tells us they see the same emergencies with pets that human hospitals see. And there are things you can do to be prepared if something goes wrong with your fur baby and recognize issues before they get worse. Our Mary Stackhouse has more on some of the common emergencies with pets.
Dr. Dawn Tucker has been caring for pets at Animal Emergency and Critical Care in Huntsville for more than a decade.
We see the whole gamut of emergencies that a human hospital would see.
One of the main reasons pets are brought into the ER?
Vomiting and diarrhea. That usually needs to be addressed in a hospital setting.
Most of these caused by dramatic diet changes or by something your pet got into you never intended for them to eat. Also common.
Allergic reactions are common. They have a perfectly normal pet, and then all of a sudden they may notice some vomiting, and that seems to go away, and then within a few hours their face is swelling, they're turning red. Those are definitely allergic reactions that need to be addressed immediately. They can be allergic to different foods. Dogs and cats can develop contact allergies just like humans. So if you've been washing their bedding in one type of detergent for years, they could actually develop a contact allergy to that detergent and then become allergic to contact with their bedding after it's been washed.
If you're in doubt about what's going on with your pet, call your closest emergency clinic and ask questions. Here's when your pet needs to be seen right away.
If their animal collapses and doesn't seem to be responding, if there's any loss of blood that is ongoing, if you've had a pet that had some vomiting and you were going to wait a while, but the vomiting continues, they can dehydrate extremely fast. And that needs to be seen.
The clinic offers classes for pet owners.
We have been offering a first aid class, how to properly put on a bandage and how to properly put on a tourniquet if you've got some major bleeding.
Dr. Tucker says to make sure you know the phone number and address of the Animal Emergency Care Clinic closest to you. Putting the Valley first, Mary Stackhouse, WZDX News.
And another emergency situation we want to mention that you can prepare for involves pets when they choke. We recently ran a piece showing what you should do if you find that your pet is choking. You can learn more about that and about classes offered at Animal Emergency and Critical Care by heading to rocketcitynow.com or our new WZDX app.